If you're new here, we're Embrace the Suck 21.
Yes, we are.
I'm Spencer, guy on the left.
And I'm Daniel, guy on the right.
Yes, and usually we don't go down these paths here, but our Patreon community requested that we do Hunting the Essex Lorry Killers documentary. And yeah, this, I mean, we're no stranger to not as lighthearted subject matters like, you know, the Victoria Cross, the Jimmy Savile, the old firm, things like that. So, you know, sometimes I gotta bring y'all back down to earth.
I feel like this is not our usual cup of tea per se. You know what I mean? This is a little bit interesting, but I mean, hey, like I said, all this journey does is piece together the puzzle that is across the pond.
Yes.
You know, little by little.
That's the whole purpose of it.
I feel like, you know, you guys have your lorry killer, and we have our DC sniper guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep, exactly. The evil lurks everywhere, and it's good to put that piece of the puzzle for our journey. Now,
exactly.
Before we get into it, just want to give a little warning. This subject matter is not for the faint of heart. It's, from what I've been told, it's quite graphic and, you know, is not for all audiences. So, viewer discretion is advised.
100%.
Are you ready, Daniel?
Let's do it, man. I'm just fiddling with my setup. Sorry.
It's all always. Good. And I'm going to crack a yoo-hoo just to
nice
soften the blow here.
Nice.
All right.
There you go.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, caller. Is patient breathing?
Hello. No, I'm a lorry driver, and I just lifted a trailer from the port. I don't think so. There's loads of them. There's immigrants in the back, but they're all lying on the ground.
How many approximately?
I don't know. 25.
25 patients not breathing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Around 1 in the morning, we had a call out over the radio. We approached the lorry from the front end and drove past it. I think one of the doors was already open, and I've looked over my right shoulder and I could see like steam coming out.
We were the first 2 cars on scene. The officer in the other car, he opened the back doors of the trailer. Jesus Christ. There was 3 or 4 seconds of just trying to process what you're seeing. It was almost just like silence. No one was saying anything, and no one really knew what to say.
The whole container was full of bodies back to front.
4-9.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Potentially we're going to have to CPR, isn't it, until confirmed life extinction.
The driver just stood there, didn't say a word. He didn't look stressed or flustered.
The time is 1:51. I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder. You do not have to say anything. Make harm defence. We do not mention when questioning something which you later on in court. You alright, Jack?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just...
Just mind your head, be careful getting down. Okay?
I've been a police officer for over 30 years. I've led a large number of murder investigations. But nothing touched this.
Wow.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. Like, my mom, she's a truck driver, and from what I've talked to her about with this is that, sometimes she will pick up a load and there's usually, sometimes she doesn't know what she's hauling. I mean, she has trusted places to go. Like right now she's working for Procter and Gamble and moving, soap, whatever other products they use. And I'm sure that this is an occurrence. Like sometimes you'll be picking up a load and you don't know what the hell's in there.
Yep. Yeah. I just, if you think about it, it is. I mean, I remember trucking is not. I'm very foreign to it. Like,
Yeah.
From what I've seen and how it works is a truck gets loaded up by a company. They put, like, let's say a tag on it or a lock on it, a very special, like if it's been tampered with, check the cargo shit on it. And then the driver just comes up, makes sure nothing's tampered with on that security device.
Yeah.
It's just like a plastic pull, but it can't be ripped or anything like that. It's unique to the person picking up the trailer. And then after that, it's just like a mail delivery. The person with the truck comes in, hooks up the trailer, heads out.
Yeah.
Never checking the contents, because contents are someone else's property. Once you open that truck, the driver's liable for everything in the truck.
Yeah. That's the better way to say it. I not knowing what's in your truck, like that kind of came off wrong. It's like you don't know what you're picking up, but you're usually told what you are picking up. But maybe it was like a switcheroo type of thing.
I'm thinking because a lot of truck drivers know weights, know what a certain weight feels like.
Right.
And to be honest, I know this is very morbid, but real quick, 39 bodies is not the same as 80 pallets of soft drink. It's a lot lighter. So the truck driver is probably like, my truck's empty.
Yeah.
What's in the back?
Right. Or maybe he just didn't do a pre-trip and, didn't check to see what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only 3 minutes into this.
Yeah,
Maybe
man.
We'll find it out.
Oh, my God. This is crazy, dude.
Already. Hunting the Essex Lorry killers. 8 a.m.
"39 people have been found dead in the back of a lorry in Essex. The victims were discovered at 1:40 this morning. It's not known who they were or where they came from.
The discovery of 39 bodies in the back of a lorry in Essex sparks one of Britain's biggest ever murder investigations. A huge team of detectives and specialists start working on the case. One of their first jobs, identifying who the victims are.
The first thing I needed to do really was just to look in the back of the truck. So one of my colleagues just opened it maybe a few centimetres just so I could look in. And the first thing that I did actually was just tears come down my face.
Oh my God.
I've never seen that many bodies or victims before.
Before an examination can begin, the lorry must be moved to a secure location.
We needed to really think carefully about who was going to drive the vehicle. So we've got a commercial vehicle unit and one of the guys volunteered, which is no mean feat. Obviously he knew how many bodies were in the back of that vehicle. As we went out onto the main road, all the police officers bowed their heads in respect.
Oh my God.
I was in a van and I drove behind the truck. And as we were driving along, members of the public were stopping and bowing their heads all the way along the route, really. And the instruction was that we wouldn't stop. We'd just go through the red traffic lights and the police would supervise us.
No way.
The trailer arrives at a dockside warehouse, 8 hours after the bodies were discovered.
Oh my God. I couldn't do that. I couldn't drive 8 hours knowing, there's 39 unalived corpses in the trailer.
Well, I don't think the dude was driving 8 hours. I think the whole process to get to the warehouse from the time of the call-in had been 8 hours.
Maybe.
Because, my God, 8 hours, you could drive across the whole freaking island.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they would want to get that thing in quick. But
yeah,
that's, as a driver, man, that's like, ooh, talk about bad mojo. And I feel like one of the most superstitious trades out there is truckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just
transportation in general. Truckers, railroad engineers, hell, probably even airline pilots. Yeah. Probably seen some UFOs. You know?
But that's crazy. All right.
And the identification process can begin.
Most of the people had removed almost all of their clothing. But they didn't have any apparent injuries or decomposition. They looked as if they'd sort of gone to sleep. It was a refrigeration unit, so obviously the initial report said that people had frozen to death, but from what I was seeing, that didn't appear to be the case. There was no condensation inside the truck. It didn't feel particularly cold in there. We had to search people, see if they had any tattoos or any sort of scars. We looked for anything that may be uniquely identifiable. Clothing that they were wearing, jewellery. And then the time came to take all of the victims off of the truck.
All day, the delicate process continued. Private ambulances under police escort removing the bodies from the refrigerated container. One by one, post-mortem examinations will be carried out.
Each of the victims did have a forensic post-mortem, and the results of their death were concluded that it was a result of lack of air, essentially, so they suffocated to death.
Wow.
People had died. This was the start of the largest investigation in our force's history. And their justice in my hands. I sat there and thought, wow, am I good enough for this? I had Morris Robinson, the driver of the lorry, in custody. We had to establish whether he was a witness or a suspect.
I turned the corner into Eastern Avenue. I heard a noise out of the back of the trailer. A rumbling sort of noise. Now I thought this trailer was empty, so that's why it struck me, so that's whenever I got out and opened the back door.
So you opened the door. I'm sorry to ask this, but what did you see?
They're all out on the floor.
You okay? Take your time.
He didn't come across as a hardened criminal. Clearly, you could see he hadn't been in custody before. I think he generally was in shock as to what had happened and what he was now facing.
It's all right, mate. Do you want some more water?
Please, yeah.
And just to clarify, when you picked the trailer up, as far as you know, it was empty.
Yeah.
With Robinson claiming he had no idea there were people in the trailer he was collecting, detectives start piecing together his movements before he parked up in the industrial estate.
I quite like doing.
Man, listen, I've watched way too many episodes of Law and Order, SVU, you know, The Wire. I don't know. It just seems very stone, and just seemed very like my first instinct is that he didn't know what he had bodies in the trailer. He just was doing a job.
Yeah, it's tough when you don't know how you're going to react to that. I mean, and I feel like he opened that door and it was just shock.
Yeah.
It was just, he was in shock. It's like, there's no way I'm seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. He felt that the trailer was empty.
Yeah.
And he was like, I heard things moving around.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. So, I mean, oh man, my mind's going everywhere. I'm trying not to go everywhere, but hear me out. Why would you call the police on yourself?
Well,
especially on something that big.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess you don't know what to do. What else are you supposed to do?
Oh no. I'm saying, like, for me, that is, it's too big to be just one person, right?
Right.
And it's too big for this truck driver to be the I mean, 39. Like, that's a big number. And suffocation, not like slashy, stabby, stab.
Right.
Like, dude. God damn.
Doing CCTV. I've been the CCTV coordinator for a number of murder investigations. Initially, we're trying to figure out the route of the lorry and how it came to be there. Robinson told us that he picked up the trailer from Purfleet Port.
Purfleet is one of 70 ports along the River Thames, receiving thousands of containers from around the world every day to be picked up by drivers and transported across the UK. To identify Robinson, detectives trawl through footage from dozens of cameras, looking for a red lorry cab pulling a white trailer.
We looked at the CCTV footage from the ticket office, and you can clearly see Robinson's face. But at one point, you can see his face just drop, and he's clearly asked about the trailer. And something just at that moment just didn't sit right. There's something he's worried about.
Oh,
and he leaves the port with the trailer.
Yeah, you definitely saw a look of concern on there. Like, maybe he's got something to hide.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So maybe I take back what I said earlier so far. I'm not trying to jump to any conclusions. I'm just asking questions here. Maybe he knew what he was doing and was, you know, preparing for the role.
I feel like I might have a clue, but I'm going to keep my judgments.
Okay. All right.
You know, because it's too early. Nothing's cooked yet.
Yeah, nothing.
You know, I'm like, I gotta figure this out. I mean, that's crazy, dude. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Then makes his way to the industrial site.
Luckily, there were a large number of premises with CCTV. that showed Mo pulling up in the trailer, getting out of the trailer and walking to the rear of the doors. And you can see him clearly opening the doors, and it has a look in and then closes them.
Robinson then drives off, before returning a few minutes later to the same spot. By the time he calls the emergency services, 23 minutes have passed.
Hello, caller. Is patient breathing?
No, I'm a lorry driver and I just lifted a trailer from the port. There's immigrants in the back, but they're all lying on the ground.
Sorry to just backtrack a little bit, and I know it's really difficult for you. You opened the door, you saw what you saw, and got back into the lorry, yeah?
I panicked then, my head just completely went, and I done the loop. It's like you can do a loop back round on yourself, and I just jumped in the lorry and done the loop and came back to where I was beforehand, and then that's when I rung the ambulance then.
Okay, so you panicked.
It's an odd thing to do. You've just found 39 dead people in the back of your lorry. So you're going to get back into it and go for a drive. Makes you wonder what was going through his head at the time.
Can I just clarify, what phone is it you have?
The Samsung S8 or 9, I'm not sure.
Do you own any other mobile phones?
No.
When Mo was arrested and came into police custody, he had a Samsung mobile phone, but he also had a Nokia battery in his pocket.
You had an old phone battery?
Yeah.
How come?
Because we lose signal in Denmark. And
Where? Denmark?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I had an old phone.
You mean you'd lose signal with your
On the phone.
your smart
Yeah.
phone, so the old Nokias
Yeah.
would
Believe
still
it or not,
work,
the
yeah.
signal, you still get it, yeah.
So where is it?
I threw it away. Whenever this all happened, I panicked. Just freaked out.
So freaked out because there's stuff on it?
No, freaked out because it just doesn't look good. It's just...
What, you thought we think you're a drug dealer?
Yeah.
It was vital for us to...
Yeah, he's not doing himself any favors. Like, why would you make a lap after finding dead bodies in your trailer, for one? And for two, they found your burner phone, dude. Like, come on.
But dude, you can't fault someone for acting erratic when they see that shit.
Right.
Like,
right.
If I can't cast judgment, because when I've been in insane situations, you don't act rational. There's nothing that makes sense.
Right.
There's a trillion things going through your head. None of them are probably, in his mind, guilt. They're just like, holy shit, this is the end of my life, my livelihood, my career. This is, what do I do? Do I get clarity? Do I drive? Do I drive to the police station? What's the next move? They're gonna find the bodies. I'm effed.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. You don't act rational when you're when you're pretty much dead in the water.
Yeah. Because how do you come back from this? Like, you literally don't. You don't. Like, you're the guy that found the 39 bodies.
Yeah. That's how do you come back from that? You just don't.
No.
What I'm trying to look at with this interview here is his body language, because I'm not sure if he's making eye contact with the person he's interviewing with, because he's making eye contact, that's a sign that he's telling the truth, because, if I'm trying to make up a lie. Oh, I don't drink that many beers. That's not it. You're looking there, but if you remember, today I had mushroom and green pepper pizza today. You're looking up there, you're trying to remember facts. Yeah. So I can't really get that from this guy.
I can't believe a truck driver is a main player. They are never They're never main characters. Truck
Right,
drivers are never the main character.
They're the supporting character.
They are the pawns. They're the disposables.
Yes, someone higher up is behind all of this.
Yep, someone had dirt on this guy, gave him a burner, told him to go pick up a container, or else his family's going to disappear, probably.
Very plausible so far.
Find out where the other half of that battery was, or where the phone was, and what usage that phone had had.
You're not naive, you're not a stupid chap. We're going to be looking for it, aren't we?
Yeah.
The chances are we'll find it. You've seen the movies, we'll get our search teams out and all that sort of thing. We will download it, even if it's broken.
Yeah.
What's going to be on it?
Nothing.
Sure about that?
Searching the spot where Robinson parked his lorry, detectives discovered, in a drain, a smashed mobile phone.
And do you have a SIM in that phone?
There wasn't, no.
There was no SIM.
And nearby, a broken SIM card.
There you go.
Both are sent for forensic analysis. While detectives wait for the results of those tests, the team trying to identify the victims needs more manpower. They call on officers from around the country to assist the investigation.
I was asked to undertake the phone work. There were around 50 telephones and maybe another 10 or 15 SIM cards recovered in the back of the lorry.
Oh my God.
The issue we had is due to the conditions within the back of the lorry, all of the victims had basically stripped down to their underwear, which had meant that their phones weren't with them. So we didn't know what belonged to who. So it was really a case of going through hundreds of telephone numbers, thousands of gigabytes of data.
As that data is gathered, reports of missing people are coming in from all over the world. And there's evidence that suggests some of the victims could be Chinese.
This is a ID card that we found in the back of the container. It's in the name of Menling Wang. Her place of birth is listed as Kina, K-I-N-A, which I believe in Greek is China. For all intents and purposes, this was a Chinese citizen living in Greece.
As investigations continue, it's believed the 39 people found dead in the back of a refrigerated lorry in Essex yesterday were Chinese nationals.
When I heard the news on the BBC about, a lorry was found with 39 Chinese bodies, I was very doubting about, the victims were Chinese. I work with the Vietnamese here, so I knew so well about, their way of escaping, sitting in the lorry to the UK. Not very long time afterwards, the telephone called all the time from the UK, from Vietnam, and they told me that their family members could be among the victims. Wow. I told, the police officers, I am very sure all of them, not some of them, but all of them were Vietnamese. At the beginning, the family members, they didn't want to come forward. They scared because, some of them, they came here without any paper. And if they come forward and the police can tell the Home Office about, their identity, they can be sent back to Vietnam.
Oh.
And then I told the police. The family was very scared. I got the words from the police force that we do not do anything harmful to you. And then I told the family members here It is okay. You please come forward. No problem.
That's interesting. I don't know too much about Vietnam. I can't speak on that, obviously. But, like, the fact that they all try to get into a shipping container to get out of Vietnam and come to the UK, like, there's got to be a reason for that.
Well, yeah, living conditions.
Living
Same reasons they come across our border in freight trains or stuffed in the back of an 18-wheeler. Same kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
It's that hope. But you can't fault illegal immigrants for not wanting to come up and say something, because that's like, holy shit, because then it sounds like a trap.
Right. If they say something, their asses could get booted back to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like that. So,
and that's no, because you know where they're coming from, that is a trap. You know, they don't trust the government there. No one, you know what I mean? So they're not going to trust this government, especially when they have no ties to this government. So
right. F the government, basically. You don't need to know anything. Yeah,
it's
pulling exactly.
Teeth.
Yeah.
Father Simon was a massive breakthrough for us. You know, we'd gone from, in the early days, of having absolutely no idea of who our victims were to suddenly being in a state where we were getting detail after detail through. And then we started making contact with the families in Vietnam.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Năm 2010 là mới cưới. Thằng cũng quen biết chắc 10 năm á. Trong 5 năm mà sinh 3 đứa liên tục thì nói chung là cuộc sống của vợ chồng cùng lâm nông thì cũng vất vả đó. Lâm nông thì nói chung là con cái thì 3 đứa bắt đầu vô học hành á, thiểu thốn. Thì như ở đấy thì họ đi làm ăn thôi, ở đấy là nói chung là khi anh đi đó là trước đó là cũng có nhiều người đi rồi anh mới đi. Họ bay đó là đi ở mua rồi bắt đầu hai vợ chồng mới tham đi. Bố nói bố muốn ở nhà với mẹ con, bố muốn đi nữa.
Daddy doesn't want to go.
Mình không đi thì mình ở nhà mình cũng vất vả nữa. Thì khi đó là hai vợ chồng mới xác định là đi, anh nói cho anh đi. Thì bữa anh đi là mùng 6 tháng 9. Còn nói chung là anh gọi liên tục. Một ngày có khi cả chục lần. Bố gọi về chỉ cần nhìn thấy mẹ con là được. Anh chưa sang Anh. Anh sang Đức. Sang Đức không có việc là có mấy người họ nói đi sang Anh.
Then people said he should go to the UK,
so he decided he would.
Man, your sentiment earlier was right. Yeah,
it's heartbreaking, dude. I mean, you know, I feel like the adults will do anything for their families.
Yeah,
you know,
the family, the kids are the most important thing.
Yep.
So,
and I bet it's one of 39 different stories that are very similar.
Yeah, that's just one. There's 38 more to learn about.
And look, man, at least if there's any sort of thing, and this is a very crazy thing to say, at least that family has closure, because 90% of the time there is none.
Right.
There is just absolutely zero closure.
Yeah, they're just gone
missing
forever.
Yep.
Like it's like the victims of Malaysian Airlines MH370.
Yep.
Like there was no closure for them. They never found them. So And that's why they spent so much money to try and find them, just to give closure to the families and find out why the hell this happened. But that's a discussion for another time.
That's another episode, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Detectives are still trying to get to the bottom of what Maurice Robinson did in the 23 minutes between discovering the bodies and calling an ambulance, and who he may have called from his discarded phone.
So, we know that you drove round because you was in a panic, you said, and then you called ambulance from your phone?
Yeah.
Did you call anyone else?
My boss.
And what's your boss's name?
Ronan Hughes.
So Ronan may be able to tell us what the plans were.
Might be.
Didn't ring or speak to anyone else at all?
No.
People seem to think that when they take a SIM card out of a mobile phone that's it. You see on the movies, they take the SIM cards out or they break the phone. But you can recover a lot of data.
Call data obtained from the telephone number of the SIM card confirmed that Robinson did call his boss, Ronan Hughes. But it also reveals he called another number. That number is traced to Tilbury, another port up the coast from Purfleet. The data not only reveals the shop where the phone was topped up, but the exact moment when the transaction took place.
The CCTV image was just perfect. He walked under the camera. We're able to put a face to the person topped up the phone, who's the person who had conversations at the time the bodies were first discovered with Robinson.
With evidence mounting, Robinson decides to change tack.
Uh-oh.
At this stage, my client, Mr. Robinson, will be exercising his right to silence.
Okay. We know the call to ambulance ran in at 1:36.
No comment.
How did you phone ambulance?
No comment.
Did you phone it from your mobile phone?
No comment.
Okay, or did you use the mobile phone that you broke up?
No comment.
What was you thinking in that cab?
No comment.
Did you go straight back to the cab?
No comment.
Did you run off?
No comment.
Just want to try and help us here to understand. Is it a case that you sat there in the cab thinking, what am I going to do?
Can I speak to the solicitor for?
Yes, of course you can.
Of course you can, yeah. We'll stop the interview.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a continuation of the interview that stopped for consultation.
My client and I
Oh, a
have been in
solicitor.
consultation
Got it.
and those prepared to make.
Okay.
I guess that's their term for
Like lawyer.
Yeah,
Got it.
and we heard many when we done Bob Mortimer on What I Lie to You and other things that he was a solicitor before he was a full-time
Crazy.
comedian. So
That's
he was
crazy.
a lawyer.
Wow. Okay, so I won't believe this guy is a mastermind. Cannot. He is.
I mean, we
he
already.
is the low on the totem pole.
Yeah, we already saw that they traced his phone to some other dude in a port up the river from him. So we know for a fact he's not the head honcho. He's just very bottom of the totem pole when it comes to this operation.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he's already said enough and he's given enough body language that, not having a solicitor with him may not help him as much as if he had asked for a solicitor up front.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Maurice Robinson. Date of birth, 9th of September 1994, will say as follows. I was made aware that the trailer I had to collect had people inside. I was told where to drop off the people. After collecting the trailer, I wanted to make sure that the people inside were comfortable. So I stopped on Eastern Avenue, about 5 to 6 minutes drive. I opened the back door of the trailer, expecting to see people alive, but I saw a group of bodies on the floor. I was in a state of panic and did not know what to do, so I drove around for several minutes in a state of shock. I called an ambulance and waited for them to arrive. I'm absolutely devastated for the poor people who have died and their families. I'm very concerned for the safety of my family and myself if the organisers find out what has happened since my arrest.
Oh my God.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Oh my God.
We've seen this play out multiple times, you know.
So he's essentially a coyote.
Yeah.
He's a coyote. He's a coyote that I'm going to make a parallel, right? He is a coyote that is controlled by the cartel.
Yeah.
And the only reason coyotes stay in business and stay alive is because they continue doing their work. Once they're done, they get erased.
Mm-hmm. Because they know too much.
Yep.
Yeah. He knew too much.
Or now he's in the middle of it.
Yeah.
He didn't know that much. He thought they were alive bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, man.
Yeah, they were very much unalive. Yeah. And he knew he was fucked.
Yeah.
Without lube.
And that's why he drove around. Because he's like, this is the last time I'm driving this truck.
Yeah.
Or probably ever.
Yeah, this is probably the last thing I can do under my own power for a very long time.
Yep, so I'm going to make a big circle and wait to get killed in prison.
Yeah. That was his last act of freedom.
That admission from Robinson suggests he's part of a larger organised criminal gang.
This wasn't just a random crime, you know, to gather 39 people from a different country and to bring them in on a container. It takes some considerable organisation.
Detectives suspect that gang includes the unknown man in the shop and Robinson's boss, Ronan Hughes.
We are continuing to appeal for information into the whereabouts of 40-year-old Ronan Hughes. Ronan, hand yourselves in to the police service of Northern Ireland. We discovered that Ronan Hughes had a haulage company in Northern Ireland. It's a very different policing landscape over there. Hugely different communities, hugely different areas of risk.
Despite the police appeal, Ronan Hughes is on the run. Essex police turn to their Northern Irish counterparts for help. And it turns out, Hughes is already in their sights.
I had an investigation into the importation of Class A drugs, cocaine and heroin, into Northern Ireland. I knew that heavy goods vehicles were being used to facilitate that smuggling. And I immediately recognised that lorry as being part of the investigation. And it became apparent that the lorry had been sold on some months before to Ronan Hughes. We started to get a picture very quickly about Ronan Hughes. He had a small haulage business based along the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. He was hiding his smuggling activities by doing legitimate work. And all he wanted was that legitimate load so that he could cover his movements, so that he could smuggle whatever it happened to be that he was smuggling. I became absolutely obsessed with catching Hughes.
Armed with the latest intelligence, officers go looking for Hughes.
We had got the exact address of his transport company, where we believed he was at the time. We had our search warrant, we had our grounds to arrest Ronan Hughes. We raced down to this business address associated to Rowan Hughes. But unfortunately, it was a post box attached to a tree.
Oh.
I was standing there in the middle of the night staring at a post box attached to a tree. The post box itself was the address of his haulage company. He wasn't there, obviously, and he was had made good his escape across the border, where we legally couldn't put hands on him.
Whoa!
Several Vietnamese families have told the BBC they fear their relatives could be among the 39 people found dead in a refrigerated lorry in Essex. One of them is 26-year-old Pham Cha Mi.
When you go through someone's mobile phone, you're really taking a window into their life. You can really start to get the sense of a person and some of their dreams and aspirations. You read in the press and you talk about, you know, it's migrants, it's these terms that, you know, almost dehumanize people. And then you see just someone's ordinary pictures and messages to one another. You know, you see that and it's, you know, that'll stay with you.
Hold on, I'm not gonna read it out like I did last time. I'm just gonna clear it so y'all can see it.
There you go.
There you go.
Con gái với mấy đứa này có chồng cả đây. Cha lại khác. Sáng nghỉ rồi. Nguyện vọng của mẹ là rửa bố. Vì mẹ là nguyện vọng em ở nhà để em lấy chồng. Chứ nói lừa mẹ là con đi coi về thì con chưa lấy được chồng, mà 30 tuổi con mới lấy được chồng. Thì con mới hạnh phúc, chứ mà lấy sớm là con chưa lấy được chồng. Em cùng đi cùng bình thường thôi. Vẫn bình thường, vẫn chào bố mẹ bình thường. Nguyện vọng của em là đi vài năm nữa về, là từ Việt Nam sang Trung Quốc ở 10 ngày. Thì từ Trung Quốc sang Pháp thì cũng 1 ngày 2 ngày chứ. Nhanh mà. Biết đi máy bay là rằng chứ nhanh mà. Mà đi điện về an toàn là có vấn đề gì không? Đến nơi rồi mình mới chuyển. Tổng đi nạp cho họ từ đấy sáng đến bên Pháp là 2.000 đô, cũng 550.
Oh my god.
Chơi đi thôi chứ mình cũng có biết đi xe, đi tàu hoặc đi đâu mà chỉ biết được. Chỉ nói đi VIP là cùng nghe đi VIP chứ còn tệ mình cũng biết đi VIP là đi răng, mà đi răng của mình mà răng mới biết được. Thì dư mới biết là VIP là đi rửa tế chứ rửa tình mới biết, mà răng biết.
With Robinson refusing.
I didn't mean to come off insensitive there when she said she needed to travel VIP. Like, I thought she's just pulling the wool over her mom's eyes, and maybe she's referring to traveling VIP as, you know, in a refrigerator container.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, this is all different, you know, and it's very interesting to kind of like take a step back and look at this thing, because for us, right? For us here in the U.S., our country's so vast, right?
Yeah.
To travel from, let's say, Mexico to the border, that's just a hop and skip, and you're in this massive country. Over there, you have so many little countries to get through, each with their own shit,
and arguably much more open borders too.
I would from this I would think so. You know, I mean, it's crazy that the traveling that had been done prior to their expiration. You know, like
it was a long journey.
That's a journey across so many different countries.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
To comment further in interview, the trailer that carried the migrants into the UK becomes the focus of the investigation. Analysis of shipping records shows that it was dropped off at the Belgian port of Zeebrugge the night before the bodies were discovered.
We knew the trailer had come unaccompanied from Belgium. We need to know who that driver was who dropped off the trailer at Zeebrugge port. The CCTV from the port showed a blue cab lorry bringing a white trailer in. Although we couldn't see who the driver was, we could clearly follow this lorry making its way through Zeebrugge port to the parking area, and then we had that blue cab leaving Zeebrugge port.
At 3:52 p.m, the trailer with its cargo of 39 people is loaded onto the ferry. The driver of the cab is identified as 23-year-old Eamon Harrison, also from Northern Ireland. He joins Ronan Hughes and the unknown man from the shop as the investigation's main suspects. And a Europe-wide search is launched for all three.
By the 7th of November, the coroner had agreed all 39 identifications for us. And to be in a position where we were then able to contact the families and confirm to them that sadly their loved one had been formally identified, it's a relief, because ultimately that's all the families wanted, was to know for sure and to have their loved ones home with them.
Yep.
29 men, 8 women, and 2 15-year-old boys are officially confirmed dead.
The story of 39 victims, it is not the beginning. It is the continuation of the Vietnamese leaving their home country. More than 500,000 Vietnamese people, they died on the open sea. I, myself, also a refugee and escaped from Vietnam in 1983, also on the boat.
Wow.
No one wants to live, but you have to go to help your family.
For decades, that migration of people has proved lucrative for smugglers. Today, the business is controlled by a global network of criminal gangs, which is what Essex police think they are dealing with. And at its heart, the unknown man that Robinson called after he found the bodies.
So the first thing we tried to do was to see if we had an image of this gentleman within kind of our own kind of policing computers. One of the analysts actually ran some facial recognition, but on this occasion, because of the angle of the CCTV, we just didn't get any hits back.
The image is then sent to intelligence teams across the UK. And within 2 days, an email is received.
they uncovered the name of Romanian national George Nica. I could kind of feel my pulse going. He was another haulier who had quite a fierce reputation within the industry. He was potentially that link between people who run the facilitations on the continent and the drivers that they're utilising to get into the UK. George Nica certainly had some kind of footprint in Europe, and he was obviously kind of part of the bigger picture.
Nica's involvement suggests a Europe-wide operation. Tracking his movements reveals he flew into Romania the day the 39 victims were discovered. And like the other suspects, is out of reach in Europe. Building the case to extradite them is hampered by the lack of hard evidence, so a forensic eye is turned on Harrison's lorry.
I knew that it had a GPS tracker on it. And from that, I'm able to show quite a detailed route of where he went. Harrison appeared to have made a lengthy journey to a place called Béarn in France, where he stopped for a short period of time.
We were able to share the data with the French investigators, and they identified an industrial estate where the lorry had gone to.
The day before the victims were discovered in the UK, a convoy of 3 black taxis is seen turning into the industrial estate in Béarn. Moments later, Harrison's lorry follows. It parks up next to a farmhouse, and 8 minutes later, drives off again. Detectives suspect that during those 8 minutes, the Vietnamese got out of the taxis and onto the truck. But with no images, they can't prove it.
Oh my God.
Man, it's like they got the smoking gun right there, but they ain't got no pictures, so they can't make any arrests.
Oh my God. This is, dude, and I want to say this. A dude they got on CCTV is also a pawn. He is not the boss either.
Yeah, this is like they were saying, this is a Europe-wide operation. You know, to smuggle people escaping from Vietnam and maybe other countries, I don't know, into Europe. Like,
yep.
And like it was said in there, it's a very lucrative business, multi-billion euro business.
It's the human trafficking thing is like one of the I think it's the second most profitable criminal organization industry in on the planet.
Yeah.
Which is the planet, not just a country. Planet.
Right.
So.
Right. It's a shame it doesn't get talked about more, but
yeah,
that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Then they have a stroke of luck.
Hold on.
Cette journée a débuté comme toutes les autres. Je suis auxiliaire de vie. Quand je suis arrivée, la dame m'a fait part qu'un camion était passé. Je me suis dit, c'est bizarre. On se trouve dans un petit chemin de campagne. On ne voit jamais personne passer. De là est arrivé un Mercedes Vito de couleur grise, donc avec l'enseigne taxi dessus. Et de ce véhicule est descendu 9 personnes qui ont traversé la rue en courant pour venir se réfugier dans la grange. Alors ils étaient cachés là et ils faisaient comme ça, comme s'ils attendaient quelqu'un. Donc cette patiente me dit, regarde, le camion est de retour. Un camion blanc frigorifique. On a vu une porte arrière s'ouvrir, donc les gens se sont précipités dedans. Le camion est reparti, même pas 5 minutes après, le taxi est arrivé.
Em đi là trên đường đi là gần 1 năm mới sang bên Pháp. Nam sang Nga, sang Ukraine, rồi sang Đức. Sang Đức một vài ngày rồi sang Pháp. Nói chung là sang bên đấy thì chủ yếu sang là làm cho người Việt. Bắt đầu đến tuổi trưởng thành thì sang làm nhà hàng rồi thì ăn ở đó rồi ngủ tại quán. Để đi xuất khẩu lao động để kiếm thêm thu nhập. Hai này là cải thiện đời sống trong này. Thì về có hỏi bố nói là bây giờ có cho con đi không? Mà thì bố cũng thống nhất nói để tao hỏi anh chị ra. Vay ngân hàng một ít rồi thì vay người thân. Có những người tức là bán bò bán trâu cho vay. Rồi thì vì em nó vẫn hứa là nếu con đi được á thì sau này con sẽ kiếm con trả cho. Con trả cho chứ không lo gì cả. Thế là họ vẫn mạnh dạn thế.
Man.
Suspecting this may not be the first time Hughes's fleet of lorries have been used to smuggle people, detectives seize another of his trailers for forensic testing. What they discover blows the case open. A fingerprint belonging to another Vietnamese migrant who arrived in the UK sometime before the 39 died.
That for me was really, it was gold dust. The witness was extremely fearful and they would not give evidence without a high level of protection. And from that point, they became known as Witness X.
Despite fears for his safety, Witness X agrees to cooperate with police and gives them a full account of being smuggled in one of Ronan Hughes's lorries.
I believe that the people involved in bringing Vietnamese people into the UK are like the mafia. They are organized criminal. They are very dangerous. I fear if they know that I am providing the police information, that they will harm my family in Vietnam. In February 2019, I got a flight from Vietnam to Poland and then decided to move to France. I made contact with a man who could arrange travel into the UK. I was told that it would cost £13,000. He provided me with an address near to Paris that I should go to. And then some taxis arrived to take us on our journey. We drove for a few hours. We stopped at an area near to an industrial unit. We were all told to go and hide in the crop field.
Wow.
And then a large lorry stopped near to where we were hiding. The driver then helped all of us to get into the back of the lorry. I could feel the lorry start to move. There were no light in the back of the lorry. There was a bucket in the corner for going to the toilet.
Oh man.
The journey across the channel took around 8 hours. Some of the people in the container go to sleep. I didn't. I stay awake the whole journey. It is around 9 or 10 a.m. when the door of the container are opened and we see daylight for the first time.
X gave a voice to the victims that the rest of the evidence just couldn't give. Because we could never hear from the victims themselves. It would only have ever been speculation. His journey was exactly the same as the journey of the 39, except for one detail. X explains there were 15 people in the container that he travelled across in. Half the number of people. And crucially, X's account showed us that the drivers were fully aware that there were people in the trailer.
Yep.
X's account also gives detectives a description of a drop-off point. A farm 8 miles from Purfleet docks. And when they check CCTV, they find something unexpected.
Amazingly, on the CCTV, we had a red lorry with a white trailer
Oh my
and a
God.
convoy of 4 cars, including Nika and Ronan Hughes in their own cars as well, making a little convoy past to the drop-off point where people being brought into the country were being taken out the back of the lorry and put into different cars, and then them driving out in a convoy on the way out as well.
Oh my God.
Just priceless.
Dude.
Tracking other journeys the lorry made, detectives are led to a local hotel.
Oh, wow.
Where they find the evidence they've been waiting for. All 3 suspects together in one place.
Wow.
Robinson and Ronan Hughes were there already, having a drink. It was about midnight or 1 in the morning.
Oh,
and
my
then
God.
Nika turns up and he's carrying a black holdall. He then is greeted by Hughes, and they then go upstairs. And they go to Hughes's room, and they're out of view for quite a few minutes, I think about 14 minutes, I think. And then they come back out again. That bag looked a little more empty than it did when it went in. I suspect there was money inside that bag.
It's the final piece of the puzzle. It means the team now has evidence tracking people and money from Vietnam through mainland Europe and into the UK. With each person paying £13,000, the operation was netting nearly £500,000 for the gang.
Oh my God.
First charge is manslaughter on the 23rd of October 2019 at Grays in the County of Essex. Second charge is manslaughter.
Maurice Robinson is charged with 39 separate counts of manslaughter. And there's now enough evidence to charge the other 3 suspects. Eamon Harrison and Ronan Hughes are extradited from the Republic of Ireland.
Wow.
And Georgie Nika is caught at Frankfurt Airport.
Nika was a big part of this crime group. I'm quite certain that he thought he was somewhat untouchable. And we proved him wrong.
I am shook, man. Like,
man.
Just how it's just eerie having all the details of it just spoken out loud. Like,
yeah,
it's putting yourself in the position of those Vietnamese, just going along and doing as you're told just to get to freedom. Like, ugh, God.
Yeah, man. It's so dark.
Yeah.
That whole trade is very dark.
Yeah.
And I like, oh my God, dude. So anyway, I'm not gonna get on any sort of big box here. But you know that movie that's going around, man. Oh my God, you got to watch it. Everyone knows who's watching this. What movie I'm referencing? It is a good one.
I'll ask you about it later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it deals with this, but instead of adults, kids. So much darker.
Yep.
Much darker.
I think I know what you're talking about now.
Yep. But yeah, but what it is these organizations are like the Hydra. You cut off one limb, 10 harder ones to catch come in its place because of how lucrative it is.
Yeah.
Just that one trip was 500,000 pounds.
Yeah. That's a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. There's no way you could retire off of it because once you're in the gang, you're in. Like, you know too much. You will be erased, like you say.
Yep.
Despite charging their suspects, detectives still have one unanswered question. Exactly where on the journey did the victims die? Answering that will determine whether the trial takes place in a British or European court.
We knew there was a refrigerated trailer. There was a data recorder fitted to the side of that lorry that took temperature readings. The data showed that after the victims boarded that trailer from Bienne, after they were locked in by Harrison, the temperature slowly began to rise. We know that when the lorry set off from the pickup point heading towards Zeebrugge, the temperature was 12 degrees. By 11:30,
Okay, let's
Let's
figure
pull up
this
our
out.
phones.
Yep. Let's see. 12 degrees C to F. That is 53 Fahrenheit. 53.6 Fahrenheit.
Okay, just keep that C to V up.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it up right here.
No.
temperature had gone up to 21 degrees.
21. That's 69.8 Fahrenheit.
Okay.
At 1:05, Harrison pulls into a petrol station in Zeebrugge. At that point, the victims outside are sitting in a trailer which is now 25.2 degrees.
25.2. Oh shoot, wrong one. 25.2. 77.36.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it's rising.
By the time he's reversing the trailer into the parking bay at Zeebrugge Port, the temperature is 27 degrees.
Like 80, I think.
At 3:36, the ship leaves Zeebrugge Port, 36 minutes behind schedule. At 6:25, the trailer temperature has risen to almost 35 degrees.
95 Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah, no, they're done.
At 8:02, the last message was recorded on the victim's phone.
There were some recordings that were found on one of the devices whereby one of the victims had decided to use his phone to record himself using the video camera on his phone to record his message to his family. Because we could confirm the time that recording was made, we were able to confirm that he, and it was quite evident from the noise in the background, that there were still at least some other people alive at that time.
The temperature reached its peak was 38.5 degrees.
101.3.
Between 9:42 and 9:52. And then the temperature slowly started to decrease, and the messages stopped, and the temperature dropped. One by one, they were dying.
With twice as many people loaded onto the lorry as usual, The oxygen was running out as the trailer crossed the channel. And all 39 died in British waters.
Okay.
Wow, man.
Cuộc gọi cuối cùng của anh là đêm 21. Chị gọi thằng anh nói chị gọi không được, là chị nghĩ anh đi thôi. Sáng 24 thì dậy là mẹ con là chuẩn bị đi học. Dắt xe ra rồi các con mặc quần áo để chuẩn bị đi học rồi đó. Xong là chị bấm điện thoại, chị lướt một cái là chị thấy có người đó, trong ngang tóc xa đấy họ chết xe. Là chị nghĩ có lẽ là anh bị trong cái chuyện xe nữa rồi.
Khi đó là họ điện về là cái người nói là em Lương đi thằng Anh rồi. Thế nhưng mà đi trong cái chuyển xe đi nữa là như không may xảy ra tai nạn, cho nên là mất cả rồi. Thì là tôi vắng chặn cái điện thoại đi, coi là mất luôn, mất cả luôn.
Tin nhắn thì cô Quang lên mà chứ có trong máy mà lâu rồi chứ bác không nhìn, bác không dám nhìn. Từ khi đó đến chứ bác không dám nhìn. Chị bố với em nhìn chứ bác nói dám nhìn mà không dám nhìn ảnh em một lần mô cả. Chỉ có
Four men have gone on trial at the Old Bailey in connection with the deaths of 39 Vietnamese migrants who were found in a lorry trailer in Essex last year.
There was a massive expectation when we were coming towards the trial. We couldn't fail the victims, we couldn't fail the families who were waiting for their justice. The promise that we gave at the beginning was that we would get justice.
After an 11-week trial, the jury retires to consider its verdict. The deliberation takes a whole week. When they return, they find the 4 suspects guilty of all 39 counts of manslaughter. Maurice Robinson is sentenced to 13 years. Eamon Harrison gets 18 years. And as ringleaders, Ronan Hughes receives 20 years and Georgie Nika 27 years.
Good.
Not enough, man.
Convicted for their part in the smuggling, sentenced to a total of 14 and a half years.
Good afternoon. Every man, woman and child that died in that trailer was following the false promise of a better life abroad. They put their trust in people who promised to deliver them safely to our shores, and of course we now know that that trust was betrayed. This has been such a journey, physically and emotionally. I had some periods of time where I found myself in a real dark place. My time's done now, I think, on this type of inquiry. I took the decision that this would be my last investigation, homicide investigation.
No kidding.
Hiện tại giờ làm nhân ngân hàng được 550 triệu. Mình sống qua ngày rồi tôi chứ mà này ước mơ hoặc nguyện vọng làm cái gì đó mình không làm được nữa. Thì sư thì làm được ngay mỗi mình mà có chặt chịu thì cũng trả được đông bậc lại thôi, để sau nhờ con cái hơn.
Oh my God.
Anh hay đòi bố anh, cái thằng này sao anh cứ đòi bố về với con, bố về để còng con muốn bố còng đi nhời. Nhiều lúc là muốn buông xuôi, nhưng mà nghĩ đến các con chứ không có bố nữa, mà chứ không có mẹ nữa thì cũng không được. Mẹ cũng phải cố gắng.
Yeah, it's, ugh.
70,000. Good luck. They'll find a way.
Yep. I'm telling you, man, it's unfortunate, but you know, there's evil humans out there that do evil things, and they prey on the people that want a better life for themselves and or their families.
Yeah.
And that is hope. They offer false hope, and
All they wanted was a better life and
Yep.
a chance at a decent future, and they weren't going to get it in their home country.
Nope.
It's unfortunate.
Oh man, and it's so much deeper. This is the tip of a Mount Everest of an iceberg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many ways you can dissect this, and it's at the end of the day, it's it's just like it's about human life. That's it. Not human life and the protection of human life.
And recognizing that we all want the same things out of life. We want, a roof over our heads, food on the table, money in our pockets, our children to grow up and be happy and good members of society. And, for all the flaws that we have in this country, I don't take for granted at all, all the privileges that were afforded to me.
Yep.
And this
man.
is just a sobering reminder that it's not the same everywhere else. And
Nope, not at all. We are very fortunate, to be where we are. And a lot of us, even across the pond, are very fortunate to be where we are. Even though sometimes it may not seem like it, we are so fortunate.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Man,
I'm with you there.
dark, man. Dark.
It's dark. It was really dark and pretty much said all we could say about it. Yeah. Thanks for watching. There's somewhere around to subscribe and watch hopefully more positive video. And we'll just see you in the next one.
Yep.